touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Favor, touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Favor, touch all your seatbelts, touch all your...
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Favor, touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it.
Well, good evening, Sigma race fans. We come at you live here tonight from Daytona with the Sigma ARCA Delta Division. Tonight it's going to be 100 miles the distance, 40 laps around Daytona here today with our Sigma ARCA series. And no further ado, let's get through this starting lineup here today. Starting pole position, John Underkoffler in the number 07 Chevrolet SS alongside Craig Bush in the number 88. Next row back, you have Ismael Fontanez and Parker Sparks. Jamie McMurphy and Nate Storm. Cooper Landry and Chris Jeremio. Evan Snake and Juliana Bulb. T.G. Castlenut and Brandon Butler II. Adam Jefferson and Heen Clutchoke. Wesley Shaw and Joseph Hayes. Joseph Hayes fresh off of that win the last race out. Craig Popkris and Neil O'Hare. Chihiro Fujisaki alongside AJ Kosnoff. Daniel Boogs is in the mid-pack here alongside Reese Landry. Matthias Binto alongside Aiden Sparks. Ty Kisniver with Carlos Eduardo. Borat Sagdiev and Dylan Smith with Logan Nagy and Bucky Campbell, followed by Gabe McDuffie, Paul Tabarini, and Jamie McNugget rounding out the field here today.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
So while the other series are racing at Atlanta this week, the Sigma ARCA Delta Division gets to have their heyday here in Daytona tonight. Plenty of opportunities for some new drivers to come out victorious here tonight. John Underkoffler and Craig Bush, both winless in the Sigma ARCA series. Hey, Jamie McNugget, he is a master when it comes to Daytona, so it doesn't matter where he starts. I'm sure he'll charge right through the field. I don't know if Jamie McMurray's ever done that, but he's at least been very successful at Daytona. So Jamie McNugget, who is loosely based off of Jamie McMurray, starting dead last here today may not be that bad of a sign. And I got to get the tickers all sorted here. Go. John Underkoffler with the lead here for the first lap here tonight. That 97 is Ismael Fontanez. Fontanez is going to the front here. He's going to lead this lap. Steals the lap lead away from John Underkoffler, who's set on the pole here today. Jamie McMurphy. It's not confusing at all to have Jamie McNugget and Jamie McMurphy in the field simultaneously. Not weird at all, not confusing. But how about that number 6 of TG Castlenut on the inside line here, moving up through the field. Oh yeah, knowing the ARCA series, we might see it before then. Jamie McNugget, fastest lap here so far. See, I was talking him up, saying that he'd be starting at the back of the field and it'd be no sweat off of his brow, and look at that, he's already turned the fastest lap in the race. So don't sleep on the McNugget. Oh, fast lap changed hands there pretty quickly though. It's going to change pretty rapidly throughout the race here, but McNugget held it for one lap at least. From the tail end of the field, just shows you he's got speed. He may not have had the best qualifying session here today. Up to the front, leading the race, it's going to be the number 6 of TG Castlenut. He's going to hold off the 82 of Jefferson there, and Wesley Shaw on that second in the inside lane. Four wide almost at the lead. That could have been dangerous. They settled into a 3 wide, but the 82 kind of hung out to dry there. Here comes Carlos Eduardo on that inside line, as well as the 03 of Gabe McDuffie. A couple drivers that started deep in the field here today. They're moving their way up to the top. They come rolling around 3 by 3 by 3 all the way from front to back. The lone leader is the only driver not stuck 3 wide with anyone at the moment. And here goes the conveyor belt theory. We've seen this happen before. We didn't really see this happening at Daytona this year with the Cup Series, but once you get into that revolving door of the conveyor belt, it's kind of, you just get stuck up high and drop to the back. So it's really all about making the best move you can towards the end of the race to try and capitalize on a win here today. Fastest lap now belongs to Bucky Campbell. Camera is focused right now on the 90 of Neil O'Hare. Rookie in the ARCA series this year. Brand new to the Sigma Racing fold. Meanwhile, you've got the 09 of Borat Sagdiev leading the race. Is the ticker not working? Has the ticker not been working this whole time? I wonder what the heck's going on there. Why it went blank all of a sudden. Could have swore it was working just a little bit ago. I'm not crazy, am I? The ticker was rolling, I thought. No, it hasn't been rolling the whole time. Okay. Well, that's just unfortunate, but everything else is working just fine. Whatever reason, we had this problem in the last ARCA race here on the Delta Division, so I'm wondering if someone's name is actually hyphenated incorrectly to making it not show up on the ticker. I have had this problem before. Shoot 'em, it might even be Neil O'Hare with the comma. No one else has any weird abbreviations. I've tried it before with dashes and commas, and usually it messes up the whole ordeal. So might just have to tweak his name to be simply O'Hare without the comma. But honestly, if there's a track that we can do without the ticker, Daytona is definitely one of them. Because you can see the entire field from front to the back in one camera shot. So not a huge loss, but yet again, the gremlins or the bugs strike NR2003 like it often does. Now leading the way, that's the 88 of Craig Bush, who had outside front row start here today. Jamie McNugget all the way to the back again where he started. So the ebb and flow is very fluid here today, as you've got some drivers that have started up front, fall to the back. Some drivers at the back climb up to the front, and vice versa, falling back again. John under Koffler, your pole setter, back to the lead. '91, that is Jamie McMurphy. And here comes Aiden Sparks, the number 92. Plenty of excitement so far here today. Cooper Landry leads that lap. He's going to have to defend the charge behind him here. Evan Snake, that's the 27. And the number 6 of TG Castlenut back to the front. Paul Tabarini fastest lap now. That would be the number 95 machine of Paul Tabarini. "12 laps in, no caution. Things are staying pretty clean so far, but 3 wide all the way across the field. Trouble is just waiting around the next corner. And of course, for those that are watching here tonight, the rest of our programming for this week includes Bridge to Cup tomorrow night, followed up with the Sprint qualifier for the Cup Series. And then Thursday we have the Cup race, both of which are going to be run at Atlanta. Our trucks, they ran last night at Atlanta. Was quite the thriller that Alex Sanvital took home the victory. Gabe McDuffie leads the lap there, but the 95 of Tabarini knocking on the door. Tabarini to the top spot with a good push from the 16. That is Keen Clutchoke in the number 16 for LFG Motorsports. Fastest lap still swapping hands late in the run here. I'm amazed at how many fast laps are getting laid down here tonight. Yeah, it is. It's definitely been quiet. Too quiet. Cabarini's going to lead the lap here. Putting the Dodge Dart up on the top spot with 25 laps to go. Well, I'm amazed that we made it past lap 10 without a big one here tonight. So if you were a gambling man, some individual out there would have lost their money on the wager that it would have happened before lap 10. And eventually, you got to kind of start factoring in the fuel windows and stuff too. These ARCA cars should be able to go about 36 laps. So, man, we almost would have to throw a competition caution just to keep them from pitting with 5 laps to go. If at 10 laps to go we don't see pit stops, then we might just do that. We might have to throw a comp caution just to keep this race from getting determined on pit road. Quite amazed that that the ARCA cars are racing this clean. Would have wagered that there have been at least one blown engine, one miscalculation, someone with a flat tire, but no mechanical failures, no cautions yet. We keep rolling, approaching the halfway point here in today's race at Daytona. Fontanes is leading the race, the number 97, but here comes Underkoffler back on the low side. We saw him get 4 wide briefly, and that would have been the danger zone that could have pushed us into a caution. If anyone else gets 4 wide here, it would definitely spell trouble. Holy crap! Whoa, boy. Where in the world? I looked down at my phone for a minute and they are exploding on the screen. Holy crap. We have to dig a little deeper into that. What in the world? From the lead. You guys called it. You felt that there was something that was going to happen, and it happened in big fashion. This is the biggest big one that we've seen in a while. Man, the cars are tumbling. They're gaining air. They're flipping around. They look like jumping beans out there, just up and down all around. The carnage is insanity. Man, I'm going to pause this real quick, and we're going to do as many replays as we can to try and actually delve a little deeper into this. Holy crap. Superstitions maybe factored in here. Could be some superstitious voodoo magic at work here that caused the big one. But let us go ahead and hop to the pit lane camera here. Dude, that was wild. I don't think I've ever seen a wreck that ginormous here in the ARCA series. That is an ARCA grade wreck. Some folks may be a little bit scuffed up from that one. Yeah, they just dogpiled in there with nowhere to go. That whole outside line became trashed. Some extracurricular after the wreck. That's the 51 there, getting spun around. It is a yard sale in the middle of Daytona. Parts and pieces everywhere. Wow. Yeah, and I'm trying to just get an idea of all those that are involved here. Some very, very stout contenders knocked out. So it all happened 3 wide with Underkoffler and McMurphy. Fontana's with nowhere to go. Craig Bush with nowhere to go. The 02, that is the 33 of Sparks. 94 of... Wow, yeah. 90 of Neil O'Hare flipping around. The 42 of Bold flipping around. Sparks lands on all fours. Fontana's finally lands on all fours way down there at the end of the straightaway. Wow. Here's at real pace, just an idea of how nasty this wreck is. And just hearing the crunch noises, the scrape noises, man. How surreal. That's a wild, wild one. We want to also look up ahead here and see what happened to the 51. Dylan Smith here. Oh, evasive maneuvers in the 43 unfortunately hooks him. Man, he gets lucky though and recovers pretty quickly there. Well, I think this settles it that we're going to have our pit stop here right before halfway. And there's not going to be any question that they can make it to the finish without their fuel. Fuel window has just closed up again. Yeah, we'll do one more in-car cam here. Good one to look at real quick. So we are gonna look on the in-car cam for Jamie McNugget. Wow, a little bit of contact, but not too bad. Man, there might be another in-car cam worth watching back here. Let's try seeing the last guy on the field, Gabe McDuffie. As the cars just start flying through the air here, that's the 97 of Fontana's. Smoke, debris. Wow, TG Castlenet makes a stellar move through the chaos as well. Honestly, Gabe McDuffie did pretty good as well, so these drivers at the back of the field actually were able to survive true insanity. This one here, let's see. The last car on the outside line. Oh, and he got a bit of it. Borat Sagdiev in the number 09 for Fast Knot Racing. Just like a wall of dominoes. Nowhere to go, you just get run into there. Alrighty, well, halfway through this one. The big one happened just shy of halfway. And more than likely, half the field could be knocked out after that big one. Already, it looks like the 91, that's Jamie McMurphy, out of the race. Fastest lap and out of the race. Neil O'Hare in the number 90. Juliana Bold. John Underkoffler. Chris Jeremio. Is it Aiden Sparks, the 33? I got to double check that real quick. Parker Sparks in the number 33. And then the 97 of Ismael Fontanez. Craig Bush, who is up front on the front of the pole here, outside front row, out of the race. Heen Klutchog, and then the 94 of Reese Landry out of the race here today, leaving us with at least 22 left running of the 33. And then Aiden Sparks is the brother who's currently leading the race. So the other Sparks, from one Sparks to the other, one of them has to sit on the infield watching from afar while the other one gets to lead the race from the front. Yeah, if we start doing crash compilations, that one will be top of the list for sure. Thing is, when you come to Daytona, you almost kind of have to expect a wreck like that to unfold, but we don't get it all that often anymore. With our Cup Series, the Bridge to Cup, a lot of the drivers are just too good, and they don't end up wrecking like this. So ARCA is really kind of the, you know, the amateur hour league, and we get to see some big time mistakes made here at Daytona. It's questionable or suggestible that we even let the ARCA cars run at Daytona, but we're kind of a glutton for punishment here. I feel like we want to see the carnage and the chaos. At the end of the day, none of the drivers are really getting hurt, unless we factor that into the role-playing of it all. But yeah, no, that is by far the most organic-looking wreck I've seen, the nastiest of them. I've seen some weird wrecks in NR2003, a lot of which are kind of glitchy-looking and almost like a, like a track hack or something where the cars go flying through the air. That one looked legit, like a true what-if scenario if the whole outside front row got stacked up going into the front stretch. Here we are getting ready for the restart. Pace cars off. We're going to get back and rolling. See, and to me, that's what's wild about NR 2003. This game does not know that this is an ARCA series. But, for whatever reason, we've got it set up just right, and it turns into those ARCA breaks moments. Honestly, I've come to the conclusion that NR 2003 kind of has it's got its own established sentient like persona. It's got to, it's got to be, there's got to be some more to it than it's so realistic to a point that almost feels like some of this stuff is too good to be true, which is a crying shame that we haven't been treated to a new NASCAR racing game since 2003. But yeah, no, it's got a soul of its own. It has its own soul when it comes to these, even just AI racing. Some people might argue it's like, oh, they're just bots racing each other. And unfortunately, John, you were in that big one here today. Half the field wrecked out. You were up front leading, and you just ended up getting taken out in a very dramatic fashion before halfway. So yeah, and even with the AI having zero logic, somehow we still get races that are beyond, you know, beyond real life sometimes. The racing can be so realistic and almost feel organic while at the same time kind of following a script. We've already seen it this year that we did it first here in Sigma for 2026. We had back-to-back race winners. The number 8 of Campbell Marsh winning back-to-back to start the season, just like Tyler Reddick did in real life. So even though they're AI, you know, fake race cars out there making laps, we can make our own storylines from it, and it makes it all the worth all that much better. Well, leading the way in the number 92 for Al Bunch Incorporated, that's Aiden Sparks. The other half of the field left running here today. Just getting their laps in, trying to fight for the win now. And it definitely changes up the whole atmosphere of this race now to the finish. We don't see as much 3 wide. The drivers, they're a little bit more reserved at the moment, not wanting to risk it. But they were risking it for the biscuit before halfway, so it's kind of crazy to think that they decided to lay it down now, relaxing for the second half of the race. Laps are dwindling down, and they're not going to have a whole lot of racing left to get it done. Still hanging on to the draft at the lead here, Jamie McNugget. Not too far off, but he is starting to lose that draft just a little bit. McNugget's best bet would be to maybe have another caution and try to get bunched back up with the fast cars here. It was the slower traffic that kind of held him up and lost him the draft for the moment. And that number 43 machine, that is Logan Nagy in the number 43. Kind of crazy for the 43 machine to win the Cup race at Portland last week and be in contention here tonight at Daytona for the ARCA race. Well, we're down to 11 laps to go this time by. The pack has gotten pretty well stacked back up here. 2 cars losing the draft. 4 wide in the middle of the pack there. Boggs is going to get on the inside. Oh, and wow. He's going to have to rejoin the race line here. Is that going to be a faulty rejoin? 46, wow. That could have been problematic, but they avoided mayhem there. Yeah, we're probably another wreck waiting to happen here before the end of this one. And just so that we have it, we'll enable green-white checkers just in case we need it. And the leaders are catching up to lap traffic. We have not been doing our job of actually kicking them to the curb tonight. But the lap car is going to slow down the lead pack. 4 cars break away from the rest. Well, things have got kind of spread out here with 10 laps to go. Four cars at the front fighting for it right now. The next group just a little bit further back here, and they're spread out from there on back. Logan Nagy leads the way with Carlos Eduardo and Adam Jefferson with 84 there of Joseph Hayes. Single file at the front. This should allow the other group to start catching up, close in on them. Well, look at the group back there forming together. This could get very hostile at the front of the field. These 4 alone are a sitting duck. We might have another tremendous wreck if they get all bunched back up here within the end of this one. Dylan Smith, the fastest lap. Impressive from him that he was spinning through the grass at one point and now flying up to the front of the field to try and fight for the win here. You can see him pictured there in the top 10, the number 51 machine, the Ford Fusion for North Central Texas Motorsports, or in other words, NCTX Motorsports. There we go. The pack is caught back up. Your top 4 are no longer the top 4. It's more like the top 13, 14, or 15. Four wide. Here we go. 4 wide. We're trying to break into that territory again. The 65 hooks the 27. Man, is he going to get back up and wreck the whole field? No, he's not. But that, that's just one of those things. You got to make that move to try and stir the pot a little bit. This group gets kind of destabilized for a moment here, but just you wait. They'll get stabilized back up. Bunch of people in the back hoping there's a wreck here to get the field stacked back up for one last go at it here tonight. The 03, that is Gabe McDuffie moving up to the front now. 51 has won here at Daytona before in the Sigma ARCA series. So they've got the stat book to go back on to try and figure out how to get back to victory lane here. Seems to be working so far, but with 5 laps to go, he loses the lead for now. Here we go. Tight battles all throughout the top 20, top 15 at least. Also moving into the picture, Matthias Bento, who led the most laps in the last race but came up short from actually winning. Boogie right there behind the number 8, though. Is it going to be Daniil trying to jump to the lead here? Going 3 wide, perhaps, for the lead. Not quite. They single file back to the inside line there. But the 9's right there, knocking on the door. 28, that's Nate Storm for KBM. Courting Brothers Motorsports. There we go. Boogs has got the move. Fastest lap, just last lap for Daniil Bogdasarov. And now, jumping up to the lead, here he is. 3 laps to go. Daniil's going to have to hold him off for a couple more laps here. 2 laps at the line. The whole field bunched back up into one unified pack here for now. And the lap traffic is not going to be a factor. They're so far off the pace that they're not anywhere near our leaders. Here comes the 08 of Ty Kisniver. That is the 46 of Craig Popkris right behind him. Four wide. Here we go again. 4 wide on the backstretch. Craig Popkris in the middle. Boggs on the mid-pack. That group is getting a little bit out of sorts. Are they going to be able to hold it into the front stretch? Whoa, what the heck happened? They're pitting. How are they pitting? So Boggs back to the front here. Some drivers with unfortunately bad pit strategy, pit calls. Crew chiefs, I don't know who's on the board for that one. So a couple folks pitted. We've seen this in the ARCA series, unfortunately. I don't know why it's the ARCA series alone. But, wow. Okay. Things were looking very nasty, and it's kind of stabled out here. White flag this time by. They're going to get one more lap to go. Carlos Eduardo has the lead. That inside line is pitting. Everyone on the inside pits from the lead. White flag waving. One more lap to go. Bogdasarov in the number 9. Number 8 just behind that. 82 in the 65. What a weird race that we're getting to follow along with here. Everyone should have been good to go to the green. I don't see why there was any reason for pit stops. Boogie's got it up front here. Just has to hold off the charges from the offenders behind him. That is the 8 of Bento. Bento might be runner-up, but he's going to have a run. He's going to have a shot at it, at least, going on the front, coming down. They're going to drag race to the start-finish line. Is it going to be Bento or is it going to be Boogs? Boogie gets it. Daniil Bogdasarov gets the win here today, holding off the 8 of Matthias Bento. Coming home third, it was AJ Kosnoff. Chihiro Fujisaki with a 4th. Craig Popkris with the top 5. That was a close one. It got a little bit interesting there as they drag race to the start finish line. Gabe McDuffie brings it home 6th, best finish of the season for him. Aiden Sparks 7th, Joseph Hayes 8th. 9th place. Who brought it home 9th? Retired from 9th was the 82 of Jefferson. We need to figure out what the pit stop problem is with this ARCA series, because it does not make any sense to me. Jamie McNugget brings it home 19th, so it seems like everyone had to pit except for the lead 8. Yeah, the crew chiefs were definitely dumb and dumber on that one. For any reason, you would not want to pit with 3 laps to go in the race, and they did that. They did just that. So McNugget 19th. Well, folks, what a wild ARCA race, as always, here in the Sigma ARCA Racing Series. And so now we kind of just get to look forward to Pikes Peak in the next race of the season. Next week, this time 1 week from now. But of course, Bridge to Cup and Cup for this week. Don't forget to tune in for those. We're officially 4 races in through the Sigma ARCA campaign this year. 2 on the Alpha division and 2 on the Delta division. And that points standings is going to look different after tonight. Some of the drivers that won the first race not likely to be up in the top of the points after this one. And if you were here for the race tonight, you got to lay witness to one of the gnarliest wrecks that we've seen in Sigma racing for quite some time. Sigma ARCA, a definite ARCA breaks moment for us on the broadcast, where the whole outside line dogpiled into each other. But ultimately, congratulations to Daniil Bogdasarov for getting the win here tonight. One of the newcomers in the Sigma racing scene. And he gets the job done with only leading, what, 1 lap, I think? Oh man, it got rid of that ticker. I want to say it was only 1 lap that he led here. Not last lap. Last 2 laps, maybe. So thanks, folks, for tuning in. It was an exciting one. Definitely was worth the wait for those that were waiting to see the ARCA racing this week. I'm excited for the rest of the racing for tomorrow night and Thursday night. Bridge to Cup and Cup should be exciting as well. So I guess I'll leave y'all with one last tidbit here. Congrats to Daniel. The rest of the ARCA field looks stout, folks. I'm thinking it's going to be an exciting ARCA campaign from start to finish. Doesn't matter if you're in the Alpha division or the Delta division. The overall championship is going to be a tough one to secure for the overall ARCA champion once we combine those tallies together. Keep an eye on the website to check out the scores as they go up. I try to put them up Saturdays. That seems to be the window I get for an opportunity to sit down and actually score everything. So, and you'll know on the server, if you're on the Discord server, just keep your eyes peeled for when that announcement is that the points have been updated. But other than that, folks, have a great night. Stay safe out there. And until next time, this is Jakester signing out.